Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you might be in the world, we're all on the same time zone collectively. I'm Wendy from News Force, and I am back with a special report. We had an extreme slammer jammer go off just a little bit to the south, out in the ocean on a shelf of Argentina. Okay, South America has been pretty quiet. They've been climbing on Colombia quite a bit, blowing up a lot there, skipping the Panama Canal. And we know Mexico is absolutely loaded with DUMBs being blown up. But it looks like to me from the map that they're going to come on into South America and start doing some war to peace there. Let's go over to the map and take a look at where this slammer jammer's at, and then we're going to go ahead and get to a report about it on the ground. I also have a few things I want to show you guys out in Florida and out in the ocean too. We had another slammer jammer rock just to the north of South America, straight across from Florida. All right, let's get in and just take a look at where this slammer jammer was. Okay, guys, I'm over at the D.U.M.B.S map. Okay, and you could probably already see it on there. It's quite the slammer jammer. So here is North America, which is the restored Republic, United States. And then this is South America, guys, okay? And Argentina is on that very last little leg of South America. And then you can see up here, this is Colombia. It's very, very action-packed. And they seem to be climbing down like this. And if you know anything about what happened up here in Mexico, okay, you know that they did the same exact thing. They started up here and came down here. And they started here and they came up here, okay, and started right here. So basically, it's the same action I'm seeing down here. So it looks like they went ahead and climbed in right here. They're coming down the coastline and that beltway. I call it a beltway, guys. And they're starting here, which is our slammer jammer, and they're going to come north like that. So you can consider this a brand new project opening up. Anytime you see a large conglomeration, look at those explosions, guys. That was all within about 5 hours. You could tell they're beginning a new project, okay? We're going to go ahead and take a look at that in a minute. Let me go ahead and get you guys a report. This is coming from Indian Express, and they are a small local station there that was able to catch some really good footage. Let's go ahead and hit play.
A massive quake just rattled the bottom tip of South America. Coastal towns in Chile are evacuating, and a tsunami alert is in place. Here's what we know so far. A powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck the southern coast of Chile and Argentina on Friday. It happened at 9:58 a.m. local time. The epicenter was located in the Drake Passage, a remote oceanic stretch. It hit a shallow depth of just 10 kilometers. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake struck about 219 kilometers south of Ushuaia, Argentina, the southernmost city in the world. Shortly after, a tsunami alert was triggered. Chilean authorities issued an evacuation order for the coastal section of the Strait of Magellan. President Gabriel Boric posted on X urging residents, "We call for evacuation of the coastline throughout the Magallanes region." Chile's National Disaster Agency told people to stay calm and follow instructions from officials and response teams. Local media say the evacuation is a precaution. Residents are being directed to move to safe zones that are 30 meters above sea level. The situation is still developing. This is a breaking story, and we will keep you updated as more details come in.
Well, it must not have been that bad. Probably kind of like a snow day, so to speak. There was people laughing in there and stuff like that. But this was a pretty violent one, you guys. The best part about it is it was out in the ocean. Let's go right to the dive. This is the stinker they're talking about. This is the War to Peace right here, this one. 22 hours ago, Drake's Passage. All right. First, let me just show you 7.4. Wham! How much harder could they hit a city, a town, a military base than that? 7.4, guys. This rocked their world down there. This was a biggie. Maybe one of the biggest I might report on. I have reported on an 8.1, but it was out in the ocean. Okay, guys, and most of all, woohoo, 10 km. I love it. I love it. That is a main tunnel. If you don't know, that is a main tunnel. There's main tunnel systems that run underneath, and all of them are at 10 km. Okay, when they hit a 10 km and they hit a main, you know they got something huge. Okay, this was definitely one for the history books. I'll be remembering it always. They got something really big there, guys. Okay, let's head over to the map and let's just zoom in and see what we can see on it. If there's anything around it. Okay, it's just straight clean. And that is on a shelf. What do I mean by that? We're going to stop right here and I want to show you. You can see how the shelf and then it drops off. Okay, that's why I'm calling it a shelf. Most of these are built on the shelves and the beltways. Okay, most of these D.U.M.B.S, these deep underground military bases. All right, I'm going to pull back out here. Look at this. They did all of this within 5 hours. So it looks like to me they're opening up a new can. Okay, we'll be watching for it to progress. Here's another one 17 hours ago that they hit, guys. 10 km, 6.4 blast. I don't know. That's a lot of 10 kmers. It makes you wonder if they're not finishing something up. Look at this 10 km, 5.1. You guys, they hit something massive here. I don't know if we're going to see any cleanup behind it. They may have already done the small parts around it. We'll find out in the next couple of days. Look at this, guys. Another 10 km, 4.6 blasts. They're all 10 kms out here. You'll probably find a few that are not. Let's go ahead and see if we can find one. Pick a small round one. Nope, 10 km. You guys, this was huge. Wow. I'm just mind blown. Okay, this right here, this conglomeration you see right here, okay, take 600 LAs, maybe more, okay, and that's what you have here. This action you're seeing here is prime to the military getting rid of something that had its fingers in on the whole world doing nefarious things. This is a celebration of war to peace for sure. Absolutely exceptional. Thank you, military, for doing this conglomeration. I believe just this conglomeration here that you see, okay, and them taking care of it is going to slow down those adrenochrome factories, those trafficking. Okay, this was a major throughway. This wasn't just Grand Central Station of New York. This was about, oh, I don't know, 100 or 200 New Yorks in one, guys. Absolutely exceptional. Let's just click on a few more here. And then we're going to take a look at the shaking. All right, there we go, guys. All 10 cams. Boy, I wish I would have known that. I'd have put that out on the main report there in the front for you guys to see. This is a 10 km extravaganza if I've ever seen one. And you guys feel free to go over to volcanoes and earthquakes and look at this stuff for yourself. Definitely, you can see a lot more. I see another one over here just to the east. Let's take a look at that slammer jammer, and then we'll go ahead and get to the reports. Another 10 km. You guys, this is incredible. 5.0. This was huge. And, you know, you notice the people there in Argentina, it really didn't affect them too bad. So the military really knows what they're doing to save lives when they blow these up. Let me go ahead and click on this real quick so we can get the reports of shaking. Okay, let's come on back. Now remember, the shaking reports could be coming from any one of these. So I'm just showing you the reports of shaking from this one D.U.M.B., okay? You can go ahead and click on the rest if you want to click on the reports of shaking. All right, let's see how far up this shaking goes. Okay, I see the farthest shaking report is up here in Belo Horizonte, okay? And let's just click on that. That may be coming from that D.U.M.B 4 days ago. 3 days ago. So that is coming from the D.U.M.B down there. They said it's a no felt. So let's go ahead and go south and see what we can see. Sorry, guys. I'm still on my old device. I really am trying to get that straightened out. So it's a little bit goofy. And let's come on back out and we'll see that shaking now. There we go. Here's a red, guys, in Porto Williams. Let's see what they had to say. There we go. Violent shaking. Absolutely. You know, the frequency that comes off of one of these is huge. Imagine if this would have been right in the middle of Argentina. I do believe if that would have been the case, that they maybe would have blown it up in sections. But I think sometimes when I see these, that they can't blow it up in sections for whatever reason. So this is absolutely huge in this area. All right, let's skate north. And we are going to go to the straight across from Florida to this D.U.M.B. Let's take a look at that one. All right, guys, 10 km, boy, they're hot on those main tunnels, huh? 5.0. That was pretty good. That's a good slammer jammer. That's, maybe I would say a 10 km, probably the size of, I don't know, 25 New Yorks or LA's, like that. All right, and this was on the Atlantic Ridge. And I wanted to show you guys that for sure. The 10 kmers are becoming more common, aren't they? All right, now we are going to go to the east, right over here to an island called La Palma. I wanted to talk to you guys about La Palma because I have a feeling this is coming up pretty quick. They were talking about down in Argentina, they were worried about tsunamis and stuff. Well, we have an event that is supposed to take place regarding a tsunami, and it's in La Palma, and it's going to have to do with that island. All right, so we are in La Palma, which is right here, okay? And it's just off the coast of the Western Sahara, okay? Over there in Africa. Now I'm going to come in close. I want to show you this island, okay? They've been working on this island for a while. This island, as the story goes, will eventually be a story where they are going to say that the deep state hit it with a direct energy weapon, like this in a row, and forced this whole side of La Palma to fall off the side. Now, I'm going at a big area because I don't want to go small, but it wouldn't take much but this much to come off of there to create a tsunami that would just about go over the top of Florida and wipe out half the country. But back in I'm telling you guys this because I don't want you guys to worry when the moments come that the movie presents itself as this huge tsunami that's coming at us. All right. As the story goes, there's supposed to be a small chunk of La Palma that will be blown up by direct energy weapons, which will cause a major tsunami. Come on out here. That will travel from there over to here. Okay. But let me show you what happened back in 2022 and why that won't happen, okay? Here's La Palma, a little tiny island. I tried to look for it. I do have the live footage. I watched it live overnight. What they did was they took an area. Now remember, I'm going larger than they actually did it. It just takes a small section to come off to cause a tsunami that would possibly take out half the United States. So we're going to use that section as an example. This is what they did 2 years ago. They came in, the white hats came in, and they basically pulverized in small sections a whole bunch of this so that it would kind of crumble and chunk off. You ever seen a rock? You throw it on the ground, it turns into other pieces. So if something comes along to try and chunk it off, only one tiny piece is going to come off because there's fragments. Well, the military went in and they did just that. They took direct energy weapons and they chopped it all up so that if they try to hit it, they'll hit it, but it'll just create a little explosion. Maybe like a, 3-foot wave. And they would have to strike it all over in all those rock fragments. So La Palma's out, thanks to us. So if you guys get these reports coming up that there's a big tsunami in La Palma, remember what the white hat military did to prevent that. It will all be a part of the movie if it comes about. And if it's going to come about, I have a feeling it'll be coming out pretty quick here in the next couple of months. So there you go. Nothing to worry about with La Palma. And a piece being struck to cause a tsunami to take out half the United States. That's what would have happened if we would not have gone in there and used a jackhammer and drilled them all apart. So there you go. I wanted to share that with you. What possibly we may be facing in the future here. Now, I want to go back to Argentina, South America, but I want to come up here because I forgot to tell you guys something. In between, in Chile, just where it takes this bend here, okay? I'm speaking of this area right here. If you look close, they have quite a few volcanoes. These little green things that you see are volcanoes. And they have a lot of them. You just see here, there we go, okay? Cordon de Azufre, okay? And it's dormant, but I'm just showing you guys because I'm being told that in that section, right where you see all the action, supposedly soon there's going to be a very large volcano that's going to erupt, okay? I don't know which one right now, but when I find out, I'll give it to you guys on the next report, all right? So be watching for a very large volcano to erupt. Now, the seismologists and the scientists are all saying it also, and they're trying to pretend like they predicted it, and I just don't think that's the case. I really do believe that they had a hold of Looking Glass. Everybody did, right down to The Simpsons. If you don't know what Project Looking Glass is, definitely go look it up. It is a part of all of this. It's being able to read the future and see the future. And I do believe that they just flat out have Looking Glass, but they are claiming that there is one coming soon. So as far as that goes, don't think they're predictors or they're magical. Most of these seismologists and stuff are all deep state. They had a hold of Looking Glass also. So, we can watch for that coming up soon in that area. It's over there in Chile. Okay. And before we leave the orange screen map, let's just go into Florida so I can show you it's pretty clear. They don't have any DUMBs being blown up in that area at all. Here is Lake Okeechobee. Let's talk about Lake Okeechobee and let's talk about wonderful Walt Disney World. Okay, so let's first go over, we're going to go over to our orange screen map. You guys, let's jump over to that. Take a look for a minute. Okay, we're over at our orange screen map, and I'm taking a look here, and it was pretty quiet over here in the Okeechobee and all through Florida. We don't have any activity of the military catching bad guys. Here is our wonderful Lake Okeechobee, okay? Lake Okeechobee, I would just basically call deep state shenanigans. Underneath this lake, really bad things went on. This lake also connects through tunnels systems up to the Orlando area, okay? There are tunnels that run all through here, sub-tunnels and everything. Let's talk about the Orlando area for a second. So here is the tunnel system that comes down and goes down near the Okeechobee area down there. Okay. And I just wanted you guys, I talk about it all the time, but I don't ever show you. So here is the actual tunnel systems. All right. So here's your cloning factory. Everything happened in Orlando and out in Hollywood, you guys, because they could hide it behind the lies of TV and behind science fiction and stuff like that, everything they were doing. So you can see this is tunnel N, and this comes up and shoots out onto where? Cape Canaveral. Of course, our fake NASA. Why not have that a tunnel system? You know, it's protected. Nobody goes in there. It's a perfect way to get in and out. I would say it was a perfect storm. They had it all. And here's the big one, you guys. Here is the sub entrance. Okay. Remember, I told you about the submarine entrances. Went right by Cape Canaveral. All this area was perfect for what they did. And you can see here that here's Epstein and HRC, which is Hillary Rodham Clinton's submarine base. Okay. Yep. They had their own little Orlando of adrenochrome and kids and clones, and they had it all going on. They were happy-go-lucky, weren't they? All of this has since been cleaned up, guys. We still use them, the tunnels and stuff, some of the tunnels in and out for our own observation. And soon I think that will all be gone. All right, here's a larger map, guys, so you can get an idea, okay, of these sublines, the main drags, okay? You can see them all coming through here. Now take a look at this. I know it's blurry, but take a look at this. Florida, straight through, okay? You can see there was a lot of action there. All right, they had a whole nother world going on down underneath us, didn't they? Wow. They had your Winnipeg sublines right here. Okay. And this is a main drag. Take a look at these main drags and where they start and end. Notice this area right here. We know there's been a lot of hurricanes that hit, a lot of fighting going on in that area, and a lot of tornadoes. Now you know why, because it was a main entrance to a main coming all the way through. It was a very important entryway. And we took that out in the last year. You guys saw the bad hurricanes and stuff, the beatings that the people took for us taking out their main tunnel system. But we got it, and we got them. And that's good. That's what counts. The bad guys are not going to go out easy, guys. All right? We have to force them out. If we give them even so much as a little squeak, they will take it and turn it into a blowhorn. All right, let's take a look at a different map with the lines on it for the main tunnels, the main through traffic ways. Now I want to point this out. Look at where this comes to. Let's go on down here to the bottom. It's going to be hard for me to get to. But take a look at that one coming down. And right at New Orleans coming on out there. Same exact place. The war zone. So Texas would come in about like here's Tennessee, guys. Okay? Here's Alabama, and we're talking the coast right along here, okay? Like that. So you can see that this entrance down here was extremely important to the deep state cabal. And we got that stinker this past year. I do believe that is why the hurricanes were as bad as they were. That was the beating we were taken back for taking out their main tunnel, but it had to be done. And they did a fantastic job too. All right, guys. Let's get to a little bit of orange screen action. Canada, looks like you have some action up here in the north in Alberta, and it looks like you have a couple of droplet screens going on where they may be picking people up. So that's one and two screens. Two screens. We will see. We'll be watching in the news for any information that indicates. Now, this is a very large general screen. And it's in Regina, which is Saskatchewan, also in between Saskatchewan and Regina. All right, look at this mess. Just to the east of Seattle. Here's Seattle, guys. Seattle, Washington. Let me come back out so I can show you guys the main outline. All right, guys. And we have the Washington area right here, guys. Okay, and we have a lot of droplets. And also, I see with Montana, guys, last year they used fires, just like they did out in New York on Long Island. They use fires as an excuse to keep people out and away while they're doing their work on the ground, okay? A lot of times they'll just do a controlled fire when it's out in the middle of no man's land like Montana last year, and I do see they are igniting some fires, and a lot of them are right in the area where they are two screeners where they're being concentrated, okay? Like here's a fire here showing off of this droplet. Now you don't see it on all of them, okay? But you see it on some of them, okay? This is the way they're able to get what they need to get done, all right? And I would say we need to be watching because this area is going to come up with some bad guys, and they are probably going to be over on end human trafficking on Telegram, and you'll be able to see how these stories follow the orange screens, like follow the money, follow the orange screens. All right, let's head down here just past Texas here. You have the Texas Panhandle here. Okay, and we're looking at these. These are quite interesting because it's close to the border. You know all the action they're doing there. All right, again, back in Nuevo Casa Grandes, okay? And we have quite a few screens here, guys. We have, let's see here, one. Get to the second screen. Two. This would be the third one. Wow, they're really protecting it. We have a fourth one, which is concentrate, and a fourth one, which is concentrate. So this area right here south of Nuevo Casa Grandes is action with our military. Let's go in just a little bit closer and see if we can. Yeah, they're not going to let us. It pops off the screen. Oh, well. Okay. So we know about our area, the war, Mexico. And of course, we have our hourglass shape where we think most of the war is happening. And we'll look at that on the D.U.M.B.S and see how that's doing. Here's Mexico City again and Guatemala. And look at all the screens up. And we do have pocket screens just south of Guatemala. Let's go in a little bit closer. I'm sorry, Guadalajara, guys. Guadalajara. All right. And of course, it's right next to some serious water. All right. And this is going to be a one. And then we have droplets of them catching bad guys. Okay. Very active in this area constantly. Mexico, granted, the deep state, the mafia originated through Italy, okay, like that. But most of them came here to Mexico because you can get away with just about anything there. And the mafia owned them too. The mafia owned the whole world, really. So let's go ahead and we see it's a very tight hourglass right now. Let's go over to our D.U.M.B. screen and take a look at our war area. where they're trying to get a crack where it can be peaceful so they can keep pushing south. All right, let's head down to Mexico. Yeah, she's pretty active. So here is what you saw on my screen. Here is, I'm going to call it a birthing canal. It's the craziest thing, but that's what it always looks like, almost like a birthing canal. So here's Guatemala and here's Mexico City. So you can see with the orange screen why they're protecting themselves. All right. The deep state is really protecting themselves in this area. I do have a feeling that this is going to be a main take that's going to topple Mexico and the deep state mafia, the Khazarian Illuminati, and just take them right out. We're going to clear you out, Mexico. We're going to get you cleaned up so you guys can live your lives and it can be peaceful and quiet for you. Okay. It won't be much longer for those of you in between Mexico City and Guatemala. Maybe another month or two. It just depends on how bad it is down underneath. It depends on also how good they're doing above ground catching bad guys. So let's just go in and just see one of the D.U.M.B.S in through here and see what if they're blowing up any 10KMers. Let's go on here just south of Sala de Alman, right here. A Colacan. I'm sorry, let me try that again. A can. I just know I'm butchering it, guys. All right, let's see what this one was. This was 12 hours ago, you guys. 135 km, you guys. That tells you how deep these tunnels are. And that's nothing. They're 300 and 400 deep. So that tells you, with all of them being on the surface most of the time, where they conveniently built the city bumped up to the United States, per se, to keep it closer to the surface. And that was a 4 km, guys. Wow. Okay. Let's come on over here to Chichai, Japan, and take a look at that. Just south of La Oxaquina. All right. This was 16 hours ago, 129 km. So they're working deep, guys. They're working it deep. Wow. Yep. Get them, boys. Get them, get them, get them. Let's just zoom in and see where this is at. Right out in the field. And of course, take a look at this, guys. You have the water coming by. Of course. Always near a river, always near the water. Let's just go in closer. Sometimes you can see stuff around it if you go in close, so don't let it deceive you. That one did not turn out to be the case. But in general, let's see if we can find here's a larger one. Let's just go to the south and to the east of, well, it'd be to the west of San Pedro to Tepec. Butchered that one. All right. It's just to the north and to the west of that. Okay, 113. They're working deep, guys. They're working real deep. They're working at depths that we would not be able to survive at. Just not a chance. But remember, most of the time, they're using direct energy weapons. After they go in there and clean it out, see what's going on in there, get all the stuff they need, then next up is to go ahead and wash them over and go ahead and blow them up. We have to return what comes from the earth needs to return to the earth, just like us humans need to be returned to our own selves. We are all a captured operation together. All right, guys. Now we have, whoops, wrong map. All right, guys, we're going to stay on our D.U.M.B.S map. Now I want to show you what coincides. Here's Washington. And take a look. They are beginning, and here's that area where they're really protecting it, where all of those droplet orange screens are. And you can see they're becoming active with the D.U.M.B.S in all of this area right here. Spokane was pretty bad, guys. It was really bad with D.U.M.B.S. Let's just go to the north on this D.U.M.B quick here. They're working low. They're working at 11 km. So that's That's just about 1 mile off of a 10 km or a 1.8 little popper, little throw down a firecracker like that. Let's go in and take a look at where this is at. All right, and of course, guys, National Forest, National Forest, National Forest, National Forest. Okay, they're not stupid. They knew how to protect these dumbs. All right, let's go on in close and see if we can see any water. Okay, so here's Newport, guys. Here's Newport. Scotia's here, Deer Valley. Let's go in close and see what we can see. Here's the park closest to it, guys. We know those come into play. All right, it looks like it's off of a road. Timber Creek Road. Timber Creek Road if you live on Timber Creek. All right. Right in the thick of the brush. Straight up Hansel and Gretel style. Hide it in thick tree brush, right? We all know the story about Hansel and Gretel and dark forests and deep dark forests and kids. There's a reason why they made it look like it was just a fairy tale, but it wasn't. Like that. Now we do have some action over here in the center of the restored republic here. It's right on the lines, okay? Right smack on the lines. That seems to be happening a lot. The Tennessee, the Kentucky, here's Missouri, Kentucky, and Arkansas comes to that corner too. All right, let's go in and take a look at what's going on in this corner. All right, there's some more action. All right, we see D.U.M.B.S. And of course, right next to the water, New Madrid. Marston has, here's New Madrid, where you see that bend that almost looks like the famous one in the Grand Canyon. All right. Let's come in closer. Let's find out what this is all about. So this was pretty shallow. It was a 5 km, 2.6 blast, guys. All right, let's go in. So I see a town. Here's the town of Lilburn. So we have a tiny little town right there. And it is just to the south and to the east of it, out in the middle of a field. Looks like a windmill. And I'm going to say this is a old billboard sign. Let's see if there's a road near it. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, it wouldn't be a billboard sign. Okay, let's try again here. All right. Oh, they're not going to let us see it again. There it is. Yeah, it does look like an old billboard sign. And it almost, you can see it, it almost looks burnt. Must have been shadows, guys. It depends on the time of day when they take these pictures. Okay, let's come back out. Take a look at what's right next to it, of course. The Mississippi. A lot of these hug the Mississippi because it was a through traffic way for barges. You think those barges were all about transporting stuff and supplies for us? No, that was the cover. The real transporting was of these children of the adrenochrome. Our world just mirrored their world and they lied to us about what was really going on. It was always about their world like that. All right, guys, let's get a check of the power outages. Not a lot going on, considering all those storms, but it looks like we got a little bit of a break last night. And as I understand it, they're going to be firing back up tonight, okay? And remember, we're at war and we're taking out their stuff. So we have extreme tornadoes and extreme thunderstorms. They are calling a certain hail that's the size of what I understand is half the size of a basketball that the deep state is using on us. I do know it's come down twice in the last 2 days. Be watching those tornadoes. The deep state and what's left still has control over HARP, guys, and they're tearing it up angry. So take these warnings and watches very seriously in your area around this section of the United States. I know we call it tornado season, but believe it or not, it's more like harp season for the deep state. They get to be mean to us, they get to scare us, and right now they're darn angry. So please watch your local watches and warnings and heed them in that area. All right, guys, so it looks like we've got Pennsylvania lit up. And they have quite a few out here. They have 85,000. Now, I'm going to guess it was storm related last night because I know that area was getting pounded on a little bit. So I'm sure it's a big inconvenience, but it looks like it's no longer in the red. It's coming down to the 10%. So they're doing pretty good. So it's 85,000 out of 6,600,000 to 21, 600,000 and 20, 6,621,000 people. There we go. Now I said it right. Okay. Let's just pop back over to our D.U.M.B.S map real quick and see what we can see in that area of Pennsylvania. So here's Pennsylvania. Looks like we popped off one in Ohio. If you guys know anything about this, this happened just after I did my last report. And there is a lot behind it. I'm not going to get into it right now because it has a lot to do with the railways and stuff like that. A lot of action there over the last week. I'll definitely get into it in my next report if I'm able to find time to squeeze it in. You guys could do an Ohio. Go ahead and do that area. Go ahead and do a news search on that area. So it would be Cambridge. All right, guys. Let's just pop in on that. That was yesterday. All right. And that was a 7 km and it was a 2.3 blast. Now, I know it doesn't look like much on the map, but it really was a lot in this area having to do with our D.U.M.B.S, having to do with the deep state. I definitely will get farther off into it. Now, we're going to head back down to Okeechobee and talk for just a minute. I have a report I want to show you. So I showed you about the D.U.M.B.S coming in and out of here. I mean, I'm sorry, the tunnels coming in and out of here and the sub-tunnels. Okay, and we know that Cape Canaveral was completely made just for a cover-up and to make a lot of money for the deep state. Lake Okeechobee is a big deal. It was one of the deepest, darkest, most hideous places on the planet. Lots of D.U.M.B.S underneath there with adrenochrome and factories and deep state cities and yeah, really bad stuff went on there. They've been working on it for about 2 to 3 years, blowing up the D.U.M.B.S and the nefarious things that went on here. They worked on just this area, I think, for 2 months, guys. And I want to show you because I've talked to you guys about it in the past and told you they will be draining this lake. Okay, there's no reason for it. The only reason why it was there was for these nefarious, horrible, satanic, evil things that they were doing. Okay, it is of no use. We will be drying it up as I understand it. And this report came in this week.
I'm sorry, did you say these are the 2 ramps?
Welcome to Lake Oka used to be.
A ramp to what? Certain death?
You can see behind me, this is the levee. I don't know where the water level is typically supposed to be at, but even for a kayak, we're not making it. This is our intended route, and we're not routing on our intended route. All those guys are just stuck in there, man.
This is going to be one of those scenarios where the lake is too low to navigate.
When I see water like that, and I thought we were in for a good day, it looks so inviting. But you're gonna make a mistake. Extreme kayak fishing. My name's Captain Eric. I've been kayak fishing all over the state of Florida. I once took my boat from Tampa Bay all the way to Key West, Florida. Currently navigating Lake Okeechobee. Started in the St. Lucie Inlet and now attempting to cross, but we're running into some issues. Extraordinarily low.
I'm sorry, did you say these are the 2?
So is this the drying up effect, or are they just drying up portions because they're doing work? They were in there this week, but I've never seen them drain it like this before. I actually lived in South Florida, and there is a time of year where they do drain it down a little bit, and I believe that they add more water in, but I just don't think this is normal. Captain here has been from that area for a very long time, and he's saying that it's unnatural. So is this them drying it up? Could be, guys. I hope so. Because that would say it's done. Just like Lake Mead, they drained Lake Mead down and they went ahead and cleaned up the bottom. They found so many bodies, guys. There was so many nefarious things underneath there. And they cleaned it all out and now they've filled it back up again. And so is this going to be a situation? I just don't think so. The truth of the matter is everything you see in the world weather-wise or geographically natural is not natural. It's all been changed, mostly by dams, okay? Dams have changed the way our earth functions, okay? Dams have changed everything about our geographical terrain. All right, we are going to see in about 5 to 10 years our earth become its own. Just China alone has taken out 226 of their dams. We're all taking them out. In the United States, they're taking down the dams too. You guys, these dams were for nefarious purposes. Okay. And these dams were also to change the weather, to change the geographical structure of our continent. So we're not even seeing the held hostage true earth that we belong seeing. And we are going to start to see that. You're going to start to see deserts fill up with water and become luscious. You're going to start to see areas where, like this, that has water man-made go away, okay, and become an area of, for building houses or something like that. But structurally speaking, we do have the Hoover Dam and the Three Gorge Dam on the 34 satanic list that must come down. Now, what do I mean by must come down? Well, because their dams changing our frequency on our planet, they have to come down, okay? And I do believe we will be destroying them. Do I think that they're cleared out and they've already cleared out both dams? Yes. I do believe Hoover Dam and Three Gorge Dam over in China has been completely cleaned out. It's just a matter of giving it back to the planet and allowing the planet to flow its water the way it should be, the way it naturally should be by our beautiful Mother Nature, like that. So we'll be watching to see what they end up doing with Okeechobee. I think they're finishing up there. Okay, they're pretty much done there in Okeechobee Lake. All these changes to the planet going back to itself and humans being able to get back to themselves with their DNA and with what we put in our bodies, all natural and stuff, we are doing this. We are the 3D to the 5D. We are the war to peace. And the earth is too. It's us, the animals, the plants, and the earth that is at war right now to gain our sovereignty back. Our sovereignty isn't in a piece of paper, guys. Our sovereignty is in what we're doing right now. Okay, completely and wholly. And we are pulling fast away from that 3D. I would say if I had to plant the 5D people and the 3D people, I would say the 5D people are here. And I would definitely say the 3D people are about right here. And it doesn't really matter what the 3D people are doing or when they find things out and stuff. What matters is us that are awake, that are seeing the war and know what's going on. That is really important. The 3Ders can catch up, and they are catching up. They are probably starting to be at where I was at about 4.5 years ago, right in through there. So they're coming along just fine. I really don't think it's going to take long for our Earth to recover. I do believe our Earth will recover from this before humans will. It's going to take a couple of generations or maybe those med beds. I was seeing some pictures the other day of some of the med beds. They look pretty normal and natural, you guys, and they're coming really quick. The military is trying their hardest to get us to stepped over into the 5D so we can use them. You guys hang in there. We're getting there. Some really exciting stuff going on. We're moving at lightning speed now, guys. It's a race to get to that finish line, huh? And we are just about there. I wanted to show you guys this on my way out. I talk about the shelves off of the continents, and I just wanted to show you guys how deep and fast these can drop off into the abyss. You can see this man right here and the size of him. And clearly you can see when I talk about shelves, they really do come to an end and drop off and go into the black abyss. I really do believe that long after the DUMBs are gone on the continents, they're going to be out in the oceans for a long time. It sure is beautiful out in the ocean, though. And, another thing, guys, remember what this is going to give to us, because they were maritime controlling the oceans, too, where we wouldn't have had any rights to that. And really, we were just about there, thanks to Ghislaine Maxwell and her little meta that she had going on. They were going to come in on land, and they were going to go ahead and make us stay on maritime, and they would have owned us, and it would have been over, just like that. So it's very exciting to know what's in our oceans, what we're going to see. You guys are going to be shocked at how much advanced technology and stuff is going to be out there. We get to get out there now in our oceans and explore wherever we want to. No more national forests and you can't come in here and we have to know who you are. Those days are over, deep state, and I'm here to tell you it's over. I hope you guys enjoyed this report today. Everybody, have yourselves a fantastic Saturday, knowing that whatever that is down there off of Argentina, we have war to peace and we have a safer world. You guys, take care. Wendy from News Force, over and out.